Hello, Richard here from Saldatore. What we're doing today is we're having a look at what you should do with your welder when you receive it. I've already pulled out the staples, so we're ready to go. This is the 150 Mosa Magic Weld. And inside the box, you're going to find the machine, of course, some instructions, the handle. Basically, this is just going to give you all the information as to how to get it ready and put oil in it and have it ready for welding. It should take about 15 minutes to get it prepared. All right, so basically, here's the machine. This is everything we've got. What you're going to do is you're going to throw the handle on it. Inside the package, you're going to find all the nuts and bolts and the Allen key to put it on. But I'm going to use, instead of using this particular Allen key, I'm going to use one that we have here, which is a little bit easier to use. Now, one thing that I've noticed, what people tend to do is when they're putting on the handle, they want to put the handle on forwards. That's incorrect. What happens is this is the natural feel because people always have the handle forward on equipment. But what happens with this particular machine, because you're carrying it, you want to have the handle going in this direction so it's centered over the machine so the weight is in the center of the handle. So all you're doing is you're grabbing your 4 Allen keys. You're going to, there's threaded holes in the top of the machine ready to accept the Allen bolts. Thread them in by hand. Now what you may want to do, I find sometimes the powder coating of the machine gets into the threads a little bit, so what you may want to do is take a bolt, put it into each of the holes before you put the handle on and thread them in and out, and that'll just clear the paint, any paint or powder coat that's in the holes. This one here, I did that previously, so that way it's easier just to show you putting them on. So you grab your Allen key. Now the best thing to do is you tighten them all down most of the way. Don't put one in all the way. You want to thread all your Allen keys in, partly by hand, and then you're going to tighten them down most of the way, not all the way. And all right. And then you're just going to tighten each one down in whatever order you want. Doesn't make a difference, but the key to it is you don't want to tighten one down before they're all in. These are metric Allen keys. I believe they're 6mm, but it comes with one, so you don't need to worry about that. But they are metric because it comes from Italy. Everything is metric. All right, so now that you have the handle on, what we're going to do is we're going to turn the machine to the side. You'll notice that there's a green tag on the top. That tells you that there's nothing inside, no fuel. As well, there's some tags here. What you're going to do is you want to pull the tags off. This is just a serial number for the machine and a warning label, basically warning you that there's no oil in the machine. When they're transported, there's no oil, so you have to put in the oil. What I usually like to do is, because we're using this all the time, we've marked a bottle at 600 milliliters. That's what this particular machine holds. So it makes life easy, the fact that we've already got the oil marked off. We know how much it goes. So what you do is you're going to unscrew the oil filler cap here. Now you can actually fill the oil in on both sides of the machine, but this is the one that's easy to get to. So there's 2 fill plugs and 2 drain plugs. This one here is a drain plug, and that of course is the fill plug. So you take that out and then you grab yourself a funnel. And with the correct amount of oil, basically we're just, and I use 5W30. You can use 1030, 2030, whatever you want. If you're in the hotter climates, you can use a higher number like a 2030. If you're in a colder climate, I recommend a 0W30 oil. So it's a little bit lighter. If you're using it in the cold weather, it'll be a little bit thinner and easier for it to circulate when you start it up when it's cold. So you put all the oil in there. All right. A little bit of seepage there. So basically, what you want to do is, actually there's a little bit, that's a touch too much oil. That's a little bit too much. Usually it's there, but what happened is I think this one had a little bit more oil left in it from the factory, so that's a touch too much. So what you could do is just lean it over and pour a little bit out, because they run every machine in the factory before they're sent out into the field. So what you're going to want to do is, before putting the full 600 milliliters, what you want to do is put in a good portion of it and then double check. And the way that you check the oil level on the machine is very simple. What you do is you clean off the dipstick, put it in, but you don't thread it in. And then you pull it out and have a look, and you could see that it's about halfway up, approximately halfway up. That's what you want. You want it to be about a third of the way to halfway up the dipstick, just sitting there, and you're good to go. So you put that back in. Now your machine has sufficient oil in it. All right. That's all set there. Okay, so that takes care of that. And now what we're going to do is we are going to take it over to outside the door to run it. And I'm going to show you the procedure for getting it started and running it. And you're basically ready to go. So within a few minutes of receiving the machine, basically you're ready to weld. Doesn't take long at all, actually. All right, so take it over up the door here. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some fuel. I'm going to put some fuel in it. Grab the jerry can. Grab a jerry can with a little bit of fuel, doesn't take a lot. The lid is on a chain. So basically you're gonna unscrew the fuel. It's on a chain so it doesn't go anywhere. And then basically we're just gonna pour in a little bit of fuel. That's not too much left in this container, but that's enough to get us going. All right, so yeah, you hear a click, that means it's locked itself on. Now, to start it, basically what you want to do is, if you come over here and have a look at the side of the machine, what you're going to see is an off and on switch. So you're going to turn it to on, of course, and then coming over to this side of the machine, here where the carburetor is, you see the fuel valve. So that's turning this, so the fuel is now on. Normally it's there, so that's turning the fuel on, and now the fuel is pouring into the carburetor. Here's your choke. You flip it on so it is choke on. And basically, pull this until you get some resistance right about here. Wait a few seconds. Shut off the loop, and now it's warmed itself up and it's idling down. And if you go to plug anything in, once you go to attach your welding equipment to it, or you put on a grinder or drill, whatever, on the auxiliary port, it'll speed itself back up. When you're done welding or done using it, it'll drop back down to this idle speed. And basically, when you're done welding or whatever the job you're doing, it's as simple as coming to the side, putting it on off. It shuts itself off. Take the fuel, shut the fuel off, so that way you're not allowing fuel to be sitting and continuing to want to flow into the carburetor. Your choke is off, your fuel is off, that's off. That's it, you're done. So within a few minutes, we have unpacked it, put the handle on, put the oil in, you're ready to weld right away. Thanks very much. See you soon.